Hey there, and welcome. We're about to dive into this incredible story. It's like 2,500 years old, but you won't believe how relevant it is to today. Seriously, it's all about survival, temptation, and these invisible traps that we all fall into without even realizing it.
So let's just get right into it. The story is called the Nivāpasutta, and it kind of centers on this one massive question. How do you escape a trap you can't even see? Okay, so picture this. We're in a forest. There's this really clever hunter and a bunch of deer. The hunter puts out some amazing-looking food, some bait, to draw the deer in. Sounds simple, right? But, of course, the real trap isn't the food, it's the reason why he's putting it there.
And this right here is the heart of the deception. This hunter isn't trying to be nice. The point isn't to feed the deer. It's to get them so hooked, so kind of intoxicated on this pleasure that they just stop paying attention. And that's when they're easy to control. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. Let's talk about the original Pali word for bait. It's nivapa. Now, on the surface, you could just translate it as bait, sure. But if we actually dig into the root of the word, from how it was used back then, we get something way more powerful: the binding distraction. Yeah, the word itself literally tells the whole story. It comes from ni, which means down, and vapati, which means to scatter. So nivapa is something that's scattered to make you settle down, to make you dependent, to get you stuck. See, the trap isn't the thing itself, it's the mindless state it puts you in.
So what happens to the first group of deer? Well, they just go for it. No hesitation. They eat like there's no tomorrow, get totally lost in it, stop paying attention, and bam, they're captured. Easy. They were completely consumed by that nivapa, totally caught in the binding distraction. All right, so the second group of deer sees this whole thing go down, and they're thinking, no way, not us, we're way too smart for that. So what do? They try the complete opposite. Their strategy was just total avoidance. They ran as far away as they could, deep into the forest. They were so afraid of that bait that they basically swore off any food like it. They figured the only way to be safe was to just deny themselves completely and stay far, far away. But guess what? That strategy failed too, because when the dry season hit and things got really tough, they got super weak from hunger, their willpower just broke. They had no choice but to go back to the very thing they were terrified of. And yep, just like the first group, they got captured. It turns out extreme avoidance isn't a real path to freedom either. It wasn't sustainable. They were still trapped by the bait, just in a different way, through their fear of it. Okay, so now we get to the third group of deer. And these guys, they were even smarter. They watched the first group get caught by indulging and the second group get caught by avoiding. And they thought, aha, we figured it out. We have the perfect middle path. Their strategy was something we might call, mindful consumption, right? Their plan was to go ahead and eat the bait, but do it carefully. They'd stay super alert, they wouldn't eat too much, and they even had a safe spot nearby where they could run and hide. They really thought they could outsmart the hunter, play the game and actually win. But, and this is such a brilliant twist, the hunter is clever too. He adapts. He sees their whole little system, their cautious eating and their hiding spot, and he just builds a giant fence around the entire area, including their so-called safe spot. So, by trying to be so clever and manage the distraction, they ended up trapped anyway. Their own cleverness became the prison. And that, finally, brings us to the fourth group of deer, the only ones who actually figured this whole thing out. Their solution? It wasn't about eating the bait or avoiding the bait or even being clever about the bait. It was about changing the entire game. So what was their secret? They didn't just find a better hiding spot. They established their home base in a place the hunter couldn't even get to, a whole new territory. They realized that as long as you're in the hunter's field, you're playing his game by his rules. The only real way to win is to get off the board completely.
And this is the most powerful takeaway. From that totally secure place, they could actually come down, eat some of the bait if they wanted, and then just leave. The hunter had zero power over them. See, real freedom wasn't about how they dealt with the temptation. It was about the unshakable foundation they were operating from. So what does this whole ancient story about deer and hunters have to do with us? Well, luckily, we don't have to guess. The Buddha laid it all out, giving us a perfect decoder ring for what it all means. Okay, so the hunter? That's not a literal person. It's the force of temptation or distraction itself, what's called Mara. The bait, that nivāpa, is basically any sensory pleasure that gets its hooks in us. And the deer, well, that's you and me. And the safe place? It's not a physical spot. It's a state of mind, a kind of focus where distraction just loses all its power.
So let's bring this into our world, right now. The principle is exactly the same. It's timeless. Your bait, your binding distraction, it's probably not a pile of grain in a field.
Nope, it's that endless scroll on your phone. It's designed by some very clever modern hunters to get you hooked, to make you lose track of time, to keep you consuming just one more thing. It's the streaming service that automatically plays the next episode, right? It's scattering that bait to make you settle down on the couch, to become dependent, passive. Or, hey, it's that ad that pops up and creates this sudden, urgent need for the next must-have thing. It's a sensory pleasure that promises to make you happy, but really, it just keeps you stuck in the hunter's territory of always wanting more. So this whole parable really leaves us with a big question to think about. And it's not about feeling guilty or judging ourselves. It's just about looking honestly. What's your bait? What's the nivāpa, the binding distraction in your life right now? And are you truly living beyond the hunter's reach?